What's up? First of all, what I want to say is my full and total support to each and every child that has been affected by the incident that occurred on the 23rd of November 2023 here in Dublin in Ireland. It is absolutely shocking and completely traumatising for these children for the rest of their lives. That's what an awful lot of people forget, that these children are traumatised now for the rest of their lives with what they witnessed and what they've had to endure, and indeed the attack that was carried out upon them. This is Ireland 2023, and this is where the likes of open borders and unvetted people have gotten us. We have seen now that this individual that carried out this attack had been arrested and had been before the courts and got away with it. This is what happens when you have a judicial system that is completely and utterly inept on purpose. You see many criminals walk away from this justice system without any sort of charge, and I'm talking about serious criminals. The judicial system, though, is more interested in haranguing you about what you post online, and indeed about you having the likes of information on people that they don't like. This is the current situation in Ireland. You have a government that absolutely despise you, because how could they not despise you when they are not listening to you? They are actively calling you names. They are actively trying to demonise you. And likewise goes for the media. How can they not despise you when they are actively not listening to you, when they do not want to have an open and honest discussion, and when they are demonising people by calling them names all of the time, repeatedly? This is where this nonsense has gotten us. And this is an incident that an awful lot of people have been sounding the alarm about for a very long time, and it has occurred. It has not only occurred to children, but men and women also. But this became a flashpoint for people where they said, no more. And rightfully so. This is an image that's a harrowing image that will live in the memories of people forevermore. And the media, on the other hand, decided to shift attention pretty quickly and said, it looks like we're in trouble for what we've been endorsing for the last number of years. It looks like the government are in trouble for what they've been endorsing for the last number of years, and let's switch things up. So what they did was they decided to repeat ad nauseum through algorithms and through articles about how upset they were about a bus and a couple of cars being burnt out and a couple of people that wouldn't be able to go to work the next day in shops. This is the media in Ireland. This is the government in Ireland. Not a fiddlers did they give about the children. They cared more about consumerism. That's where we're at. Now, if you're surprised about that, don't be surprised about that, because the same media and the same government smiled and were delighted when they repealed the 8th. And we told you at that point in time that it would lead to a desensitization of people. And that's what happens. And that's what has happened. People have let all sorts go for the last number of years. And this was the one incident where people said, okay, that's a bridge too far now, that's enough. And rightfully so. This should have been stopped long ago. But this is where we're at now. This is the lamestream media here in Ireland, and this is what they're posting as of today, the 28th of November 2023, not even a week later. And are they concerned with probing the judge who let this fella off? Are they interested in probing the NGO that allegedly helped this guy? No. Are they interested in probing the immigration centre here in Ireland? No. Are they interested in probing the border patrol here in Ireland? No. Are they interested in probing and investigating any politicians here in Ireland? No. What are they interested in? They're interested in investigating online role of far right over Dublin riots. This is how ridiculous these people are, and this is how much they despise you. Because when you point out what's going on, they don't like that, because that runs counter to the narrative that they're trying to play. And they're trying to play you with a narrative of everything is fine, becoming a minority in your own country is absolutely no problem at all, you're a racist bigot if you say otherwise. If you point out that there seems to be a very big problem that people fought and passed on into the next life for only 100 years ago, and you notice that this doesn't seem to be the Ireland that they called for, you see politicians and an awful lot of people, myself included, will call them the parasite class, running around doing all sorts of things, apparently above the law. None of them have been in trouble at all with what's gone on over the last week. Zero. You have a justice minister that's overseeing one of the most crime-ridden times ever in Ireland, and people are asking her to resign. She should be arrested. That's the investigation, not investigating people on social media. This is where we're at. You have the justice minister that sympathised and eulogised the Black Lives Matter group and what they were doing, and saying, oh, how awful it is to see such a response to these people. These people were burning down America. Millions worth of damage, multiple homicides. No one was killed last week in Dublin. Nobody. And what did they do 24 hours later? Well, the Urinal had an article out, and they said, there's no serious injuries. And about 4 hours later, then an article came out, and they were like, oh, because the likes of me looks at that and goes, doesn't seem like anything happened there then, guys. About 4 hours later, another article came out, and they were like, oh, a guard was seriously injured. Okay, who and how? What happened to him? Or her? You're not going to elaborate on that now? No. And is that it? Is that it? You guys, by the way, in the media, didn't want to report about David Dorn. Didn't want to report about him at all. What happened to him in America. And I'm using America as an example because these are the same tactics that are played in America. I've watched enough content from the likes of Salty Cracker in America to realise the exact same playbook is being used here. It's worldwide. This is an international issue. So Paul Reynolds here writes, Gardaí have commenced a criminal investigation into the activities and the role played by the mythical far-right online agitators in the violence and riots last week. Like, what are these people spoofing on about? This is where these people go to. They've no interest anymore in what happened to the kids. Zero. They've more interest in a couple of people taking shoes out of the likes of Foot Locker and causing a bus to go up in flames along with a number of cars. And I have to be quite honest with you, when I saw the cars go up in flames along with the bus, I had to say to myself, I was like, that's weird. I've seen similar sort of stuff happen in America before where people abandon vehicles and run away then. And all of a sudden there seems to be material that they can use to put that stuff up in flames. That's very weird. Nothing happens when it comes to a thing like Thursday night by accident. In my humble opinion, allegedly, respectively. But what is happening is they are trying to move away from what happened to the children. And yes, we will talk about what's gone on around that, but we need to bring it back to the plain and simple point of what happened to the kids. That is a failure of the government. It is a failure of the media. There is a dereliction of duty from both of them. And these are people that have now become dangerous to us. These people want to store up all sorts of nonsense here about a mythical far right and people that have said things online because people were rightfully angered about what happened to children in broad daylight in Dublin in 2023. This is where we're at, guys. And if you don't realise right now that the government and media care not a jot about you, you are seriously mistaken. These people are actively out there trying to investigate you for absolute fucking nonsense, rather than going out there and investigating the people that are actually responsible. The government and the media and those who have let this happen in immigration. Where's the investigation into all of these individuals? That's where it really needs to be at. In a serious country, that's where it would be at. In a serious country, there would be people relieved of their duties like the likes of the Justice Minister, like the likes of the Taoiseach, like the likes of these parties that are standing over and endorsing this open borders policy. They would be relieved of their duties. But no, in Clown World 2023, this is the type of nonsense that's going on. More interesting people posting words online than they are doing something about people that have caused an incident like this. It's disgusting. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you.